This is Jamie Anthony Rains. He's a 21-year-old male living in the UK, and he's a YouTuber making videos where he speaks to the 13,000 subscribers he has today. One video that he has starred in is especially popular, gathering a staggering number of views that has reached over 7.5 million play counts. So what is the video about? Let's take a look. Jamie's viral video chronicles his transition from a feminine to a masculine body with the use of hundreds of selfies that he took during the process. The video was explosively popular, raking in its 7,500,000 views in just under 2 months. Surprised? The term transgender is defined as an encompassing term of many gender identities of those who do not identify or exclusively identify with their sex assigned at birth. In other words, people who are transgender are designated as a certain gender when they are born, but then they consider themselves as being a different gender. Many people that are born this way use hormonal therapy like testosterone shots to help match their bodies to their identities. After about 3 years of hormonal therapy, Jamie has undergone changes in his face and body that help him feel more comfortable in his own skin. Other than trans people like Jamie, there are several other groups within the community of sexual minorities called LGBTQ. Often represented with a rainbow flag, this widely known acronym stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, to represent several, but not all, groups within the community. Each of these groups are defined by varying sexualities, like gender identity, which is the gender you consider yourself in your head, gender expression, which is how you express your gender through the way you act, dress, and interact, sex assigned at birth, which is your assigned gender based on physical anatomy or karyotype, and also your sexual orientation, which is what gender you are physically and emotionally attracted to. And each type of sexuality has a spectrum and is not limited to a binary, so an individual can lie anywhere within the spectrum within each category to define their sexuality. Now let's take a look at LGBTQ in Japan. According to a study conducted by Dentsu Corporation, approximately 1 in every 13 people are LGBTQ, which adds up to a whopping 9.8 million people being a part of the Japanese LGBTQ community. However, despite this number, LGBTQ people in Japan can legally be refused to live in a home, refused a job, and discriminated just for being LGBTQ. Other countries are much more LGBTQ friendly and have laws that protect the rights of people of all sexualities. But at the same time, there are still several countries that reject LGBTQ, where they can be imprisoned or given the death penalty just for being who they are. So what's being done to help? One approach looks at a person's epigenetics, which is a change in phenotype without a change in genotype. Basically, two people can have the same exact genetic makeup, but due to environmental stimuli, certain genes in their DNA can be turned off, which will not affect the DNA sequences but change how the genes are expressed. One study examined the connection between epigenetics and homosexuality and created a model based on proven evidence. In most cases, when a fetus with the XX karyotype is formed in the womb, the mother's body exposes the fetus to excess androgen, which is a male hormone. This results in the fetus becoming less sensitive to androgen, making the fetus have more feminine characteristics. Oppositely, XY fetuses are exposed to insufficient androgen, resulting with it to have enhanced androgen sensitivity and masculine characteristics. Usually, epigenetic characteristics aren't passed on to children. In the case of androgen sensitivity, this allows for the femininity or masculinity of the fetus to be redetermined by its karyotype. However, in some rare cases, the parent's epigenome is inherited by the child. The scientists conducting the study theorized that this mismatching of karyotype and androgen sensitivity could be a cause for homosexuality. In another study on epigenetics, scientists examined the DNA of many pairs of twins with identical DNA but different sexual orientations. The study found that homosexual individuals tend to have 9 common methylated regions in their DNA that are not expressed in their phenotypes. With these epigenetic studies, scientists aim to prove that homosexuality and other minor sexualities are not a choice, but a biological trait caused by their genetics. Other scientists covered in Nature magazine are aiming to redefine sex altogether. In the article, it stated that the idea of 2 sexes is simplistic. Biologists now think there's a wider spectrum than that. So what used to be a person being either XX or XY, which would make them a female or a male, and that being the end of the story, is old news. To help their case, the biologists bring up DSDs, or disorders of sexual development. For heterosexual cisgenders, gonads, which are testes and ovaries, and chromosomal sex match anatomical traits in femininity and masculinity. However, people with DSDs have gonad trait discordances, where their reproductive traits do not match to the rest of their body. For example, AIS, or androgen insensitivity syndrome, causes a person to be totally unresponsive to androgen, the male hormone we saw earlier. There are two types of AIS, one being complete AIS, where the individual has XY chromosomes, testes, but a completely female appearance and a female identity. For people who have partial AIS, they have XY chromosomes and testes, but only parts of their bodies are insensitive to androgen, so their anatomy is partially feminine and partially masculine. On top of that, they have varying gender identities based on each individual. So who are we to categorize them in a male-female binary? Now, going back to the world map, I'm sure you noticed many countries aren't marked with an icon. These countries have no policies that protect or punish LGBTQ, so although their lives aren't in immediate danger, their needs aren't recognized by the governments. So, while scientists work on their solutions to the issues, what can we do to help? I went to QWRC to find out. QWRC, or Queer and Women's Resource Center, is a support group based in Osaka that provides various services for LGBTQ and non-LGBTQ alike. They also hold educational seminars and fundraisers, like this one, to create resources for people to learn more about LGBTQ. So some things that anyone can do to support the LGBTQ community is to use these resources like the ones that Quark provides to learn about the community and understand their needs. Then take action, even if it's just mentioning what you learned to a friend, to spread awareness and make our society a comfortable place for all its members.